Commanders Nation, I wish I was coming to you right now talking about how the Commanders just lost by a blowout fashion to finish out their season and go down to 3-6. Season eventually being over and the team about to embrace a fire sale, but unfortunately that's not all we're talking about today, as Jayden Daniels, who is still playing in the game, down by multiple scores in the game being over in the fourth quarter, has suffered a pretty horrific arm injury to his non-throwing arm. Keep that in mind. And he was put into an air cast, and it's looking like it's going to be probably a broken elbow, and it's going to end his 2025 season. This is just a crushing blow to Commanders Nation here in a night that we knew was going to be pivotal. We knew that this was going to be something that decided really the fate of this team moving forward. If they won, you're coming off a win at home versus a playoff caliber team. Maybe the season's still alive. Maybe there's still a little bit of hope. But if you lose, you're at 3-6. Season's probably over. You're going to have to, probably sell some players at the deadline, all that stuff. But now you have to worry about this terrible, horrific injury to your star quarterback that you drafted just last year, gets you to the NFC Championship game, plays phenomenally all season long, leads you to a 12-win season. The NFL players this year ranked him as a top 5 quarterback in the league heading into the year. He's that good of a player, and now you have to worry about really the long-term health of him and his left arm here. As if you watch the injury, I don't recommend you watching it. It is pretty bad, and it's certainly going to put him out for the rest of this season. And I'm sure we'll learn more about the details and how long it's going to keep him out, but it's not looking good, and tonight is about as bad of a nightmare as any Commanders fan could have imagined heading into the night. If you want to show your love to Jayden Daniels, show your support, type those 5s. I'm having a hard time coming up with words for what just happened. You were down by 4 scores in the fourth quarter, and they just kept playing Jayden, and now you lose him for the rest of the season. And that's even more time now where he's away from Terry McLaurin. And, my heart just goes out to the young man because this was not the way this season was supposed to go, man. It was supposed to be Washington Commanders, with some new players, Deebo Samuel, Laramie Tunsil, bringing in some new guys, Dietrich Wise, Javon Kinlaw, bringing in some nice, exciting rookies. And they were supposed to challenge the Philadelphia Eagles for the division. And not only is that not going to happen, but now you've got your star quarterback suffering this level serious injury. And you wonder, thank God it's not to his lower body, but, is he even going to be ready for OTAs next year? Is this really, my question immediately goes to how long of a recovery is this for Jayden Daniels? Because, I don't know if you guys saw the video. Like I said, I do not recommend you look it up. But his arm literally snaps. And it's one of the most horrific arm injuries I've ever seen. Now, thank Christ it's not his throwing arm. But still, that feels like something that's going to be, a multi-month kind of recovery process. He's not going to be able to train during the offseason, I'm guessing, which is going to affect his development as a young player. And just thinking about the long-term development of this precious superstar that the Washington Commanders fell into with the number 2 overall pick, it harkens back to RG3. It just does. It's not a lower body injury, but it connects to that where it's a horrific injury that is going to keep him out of the practice field for quite a while to continue to develop and continue to express and continue his profile. Now, I don't expect the Commanders to move on from Jayden Daniels or anything like that. I still expect him to be the franchise quarterback of this team moving into 2026 and beyond. But our thoughts and our prayers go out to Jayden Daniels tonight, man. This is probably a nightmare scenario for him, his family, and all we can hope for is that he can make a full recovery and have the career that we all thought and hoped that he would when he was drafted number 2 overall by this football team last year, and really showed us he has the potential to be last season in that amazing Rookie of the Year campaign. All right, before we talk about the rest of this football game and what it means for the Commanders moving forward, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Prize Picks. The hard-hitting football season is even better with Prize Picks, and even though the Commander season is now over, your season can just be getting started on the Prize Picks app today. Prize Picks is simple to play. We just pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if you get your picks right, you could cash in. On Prize Picks, how you play is up to you. If you want flexibility, choose the flex play, where you can get paid even if one of your picks misses. And if you want the biggest payouts, go for the power play. No matter how you play, though, Prize Picks is a great way to put your takes to the test. Join millions of users and sign up for America's #1 fantasy sports app. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup on the Prize Picks app today. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. So, talking about what this means for the rest of the Commanders season, guys. Obviously, you lose this game, which puts you down to 3-6, and you don't just take on an injury to Jayden Daniels, but you lose Luke McCaffrey, and that didn't look like a good injury. It was the first play of the game, literally on the kickoff, and he gets slammed to the ground. It's a shoulder injury. It was very quickly deemed out, which tells me he might have a broken collarbone. We'll get that confirmed this week, or we'll see what it is. But it's not looking good for Luke McCaffrey, which sucks because he was such a good kick returner for this team this year, one of the better parts of this team, period. Putting this team in good positions with the ball. And then he had some nice flashes as a receiver this year as well. And, with the season being over, it's really going to be about getting your young players on the field, seeing what these young guys can do, and seeing who has a future with this team and who doesn't. And I would have loved to see Luke McCaffrey out there get more time to see what he could do with presumably Marcus Mariota for the rest of this season. But unfortunately, it's looking like it's not going to happen anytime soon. Hopefully McCaffrey can come back this season, though. Then Marshawn Lattimore left this game with a knee injury. That kind of stinks because I think the Commanders probably would have tried and maybe trade him for a 7th-round pick if somebody was willing to take him. But, with that knee injury, I'm guessing he probably won't be able to be traded. And he'll be with the Washington Commanders for the rest of this year. And my guess is he'll be booted off the team next offseason. So let me know down there in the comment section, is the season officially over? Give me a yes or a no down there in the comment section. I think it is. 3-6, no Jayden Daniels likely the rest of the way. This defense can't stop anybody. This season is officially cooked. And that is my takeaway from this, guys, is that, the season is officially over. And it sucks because you go into the season with such high expectations. I mean, just to show you how high the expectations were in this fan base, I think I predicted the Commanders to win the same amount of games they won last year, 12 wins. And I was told that I was an idiot for suggesting that they would win that few games. All right? The expectation was like 14, 15 wins in this fan base before the season. It really was. And I don't know if that was ever a realistic expectation, but I predicted them to win like 11, 12 games this year, and I thought the defense was going to be a lot better. I thought Mike Samerstil was going to take a step forward. I thought Quan Martin was going to take another step forward. I thought the rookies were going to be contributors. I thought the pass rush was going to be better. I thought Frankie Louvu was going to continue to play at a high level. I thought Jayden Daniels would continue off of his rookie season and have another stellar sophomore campaign. I thought he was going to continue his great connection with Terry McLaurin. I thought this run game was going to continue to play well. And unfortunately, none of that has come true. And I think it's time to face facts, man, especially with Jayden Daniels likely out for the year now. The season's over. You're sitting at 3-6. To even put yourself in consideration for the playoffs, you would have to win 7 of your next 8 with Marcus Mariota and this defense. Good luck is all I have to say, especially because the run game isn't going. There's just so much wrong with this football team. And it's officially time to embrace a fire sale, all right? You have to embrace a rebuild. You have to try and build around Jayden Daniels in the future, and you got to try and see, who the young players are on this team that you want to keep moving forward, heading into this rebuild, heading into 2026. And, all the veteran players that you have on this roster that are worth, that aren't going to be long-term answers here. Laramie Tunsil at left tackle. There's a lot of teams that could use left tackle help. I'm sure you can get a pretty damn good draft pick for him right now. Deron Payne, I'm sure you could get a pretty decent draft pick for a pretty disruptive interior pass rusher right now. Deebo Samuel, I think a team might take him for maybe a mid-day 3 draft pick. Zach Ertz, somebody might pay a day 3 draft pick for a guy like him who's a good zone, kind of possession-type tight end. Like these older players that are not going to be here in the future, I think it's good to let him go because not only do you get more draft picks and more chances at the dartboard to get young talent, and right now you just don't have a lot of those picks, especially in the early rounds. And if you can get another day 2 pick for Laramie Tunsil, if you can get another late day 2 or early day 3 pick for Deron Payne, like you just got to stack up these opportunities for Adam Peters and this front office to put more young talent on this team moving forward. And if you don't see a player on this team, a veteran, here long term, I think it's time to try and shop them before Tuesday's deadline. Then also what that does is it gives you opportunity to play younger players, all right? Put Brandon Coleman at left tackle and see if you have something there the rest of the year, all right? See what Johnny Newton can do at defensive tackle. Can he be an every down starter? All right, Ben Sinnott. Put him at the number 1 tight end spot as the receiving tight end. See what he can do. He's had some good moments. Let's see what he can do with Marcus Mariota throwing him the football. You know, putting these young players out there, throwing them into the fire, seeing what they can do and see if they sink or swim. And I think that's got to be what the rest of the season is about, just trying to get these, you know, seeing who you want on this team moving forward. And it's all about the future moving forward here in Washington. So, again, guys, to finish up today's show, my heart goes out to Jayden Daniels, man, because he's such a good kid, such a talent. And last year was such a magical season with him really carrying this Commanders team to where he took them. And, I mean, I came into the year ranking him as a top 5 quarterback, in the players of the NFL who rank quarterbacks agreed with me on that. He was that good in his rookie season. And this year, just nothing really went the Commanders' way, apparently including this. You lost Dietrich Wise. You lost Dorrance Armstrong. You lost Austin Eckler for the year. You lost so many players. And to lose this one, it just hits a little bit different. So my heart goes out to Jayden Daniels and his family. Hopefully he can have a full and speedy recovery, and hopefully by what I'm guessing is the start of the 2026 season, we can get excited about seeing number 5 in Burgundy back out there for the Commanders. That'll be it for today's edition of the Commanders Report postgame show. Apparently I wore black today because I was going to a funeral, and that sucks. The season is officially over, and it sucks that after an NFC Championship game season where you go 12 wins, magical run, your season's over by the trade deadline. There's no scenario where I thought this was possible for the Commanders this year, and unfortunately, it's the reality that we're living. But we're going to get through it together. We're going to continue to get you guys daily coverage on this football team, and we're going to hope that some of these young players that this team has drafted and brought in can show some good things down the stretch. Hopefully, Marcus Mariota can keep the ship afloat as the season goes on. So I appreciate your guys' support. Say a prayer for Jayden Daniels tonight. You know, it just sucks, and it's going to continue to suck, but we're gonna embrace it together, and hopefully better days will be ahead here in Commanders Nation. So until next time, guys, to the Commanders.